Arsenal and Liverpool have already secured their spots in next season's Champions League. That is a fact, undeniable and undisputed. From this point forward, the battle turns to a brutal race for the remaining 3 tickets, and make no mistake, it is shaping up to be one of the fiercest showdowns in recent memory. Newcastle, Manchester City, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa, 5 teams separated by just 2 points, are now locked in a fight where every match from now until the end of the season feels like a final. Newcastle currently have the edge on points, but their upcoming fixtures are filled with traps. Manchester City, despite a slow start, are gaining momentum at just the right time and enjoy the most favorable run in. Chelsea remain unpredictable, but when they hit form, they can dismantle any side. Nottingham Forest still have a crucial game in hand, and do not count out Aston Villa, the most relentless and battle-hardened team in this final stretch. This race will not be decided on paper, it will be settled on the pitch. No team can afford to slip. One misstep and an entire season could unravel. Newcastle enter the final stage of the campaign with the dual burden of having an advantage, yet staring down the barrel of potential collapse. They are in 3rd place with 59 points, but the gap behind is razor thin. One small mistake and the Magpies could tumble out of the top 5 in the blink of an eye. In the big picture, Newcastle still have every reason to believe. They have stayed loyal to their brand of high-intensity pressing, quick transitions, and unshakable team spirit. The core of last season's squad remains intact. Eddie Howe has instilled a gritty mindset, making them a tough nut to crack in crunch games. Newcastle do not dominate possession, they do not always overwhelm opponents, but they know how to survive in high-pressure battles. Yet the closer it gets to the finish line, the more fragile things seem. After lifting the Carabao Cup, they surged into 3rd with an impressive string of results. But now, key players like Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton, and Sandro Tonali are showing signs of fatigue. Without quality reinforcements, Newcastle's ability to control games has dipped, and once they lose control, they tend to spiral, a flaw that has been repeatedly exploited. Their upcoming schedule is a true gauntlet. A clash with Team X might look like a chance to bank 3 points, but that is followed by brutal matchups against Brighton, Chelsea, and Arsenal, 3 battles where every point comes at a premium. The home game against Chelsea at St James Park is especially pivotal, a direct duel in the race for Champions League qualification. Even the season finale against Everton offers no guarantee. Although already safe from relegation, Sean Dyche's squad will want to end the season on a high and build momentum for the next campaign. Newcastle are walking a tightrope. They have the foundation, they have experience, but to reach the finish line they will need more, better control, resilience after that heavy loss to Villa, and most importantly, keeping their key players fit. If not, falling out of the top 5 within weeks is a very real threat. Despite sitting in 3rd, Newcastle are not considered favorites to hold that position. According to most analysts, Manchester City are the team best positioned to rise. It is not just about form or pedigree, it is also about the fixtures. Apart from a clash with Aston Villa, the only fellow contender left on their schedule, City will face teams from the lower half of the table. Clubs like Southampton, Bournemouth, and Fulham either have nothing left to fight for or have already secured safety. That is the difference. In a race where every point is gold, Manchester City hold a major advantage. They do not need to blow teams away, they just need to be clinical. And when a machine like City is handed a forgiving fixture list, the rest of the league should start worrying. 3 of their final 5 games will be played at home, where they boast one of the strongest records in Europe. If Pep Guardiola's men get past Aston Villa in the next round, the path ahead looks wide open, full of winnable games and perfect for rotating their squad ahead of other competitions. That is a major edge over Newcastle or Chelsea clubs who will have to battle fellow top 5 contenders or survival-hungry sides. In contrast, Bournemouth and Fulham, 2 of City's remaining opponents, are not chasing any objectives, and in a race where one stumble can ruin everything, City having a clear road ahead is the kind of privilege every manager dreams of. Manchester City are quietly stepping into their own lane. They might not need to go full throttle to pick up maximum points. Their form and fixture list are aligning perfectly, giving them a quiet but undeniable edge in this chase. On the other hand, Chelsea are bracing for the most grueling stretch of their season, a schedule so intense it could give anyone pause. Enzo Maresca's side must take on Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester United, and Nottingham Forest. That means 4 of their final 5 games will be do-or-die showdowns against strong opponents or clubs with everything still to fight for. First up, they host Everton, a physically dominant and disciplined side that remains tough to break down, despite already ensuring top-flight safety. Then comes the trial by fire, Liverpool chasing the title, Newcastle gunning for the top 4, and United fighting to restore pride. These 3 matches are more than just tests of footballing skill. They are psychological battles where one loss could shatter a season's worth of effort. Both Liverpool and Newcastle are known for their aggressive, high-pressing style, capable of suffocating Chelsea's still-developing backline. As the season nears its climax, Chelsea will travel to Nottingham Forest for their final fixture, a direct top 5 rival. If both clubs still have something to fight for by that round, this match will feel like an unofficial playoff to secure a Champions League spot. The pressure is building. The path to the finish line for Chelsea is looking more fragile than ever. On the other side, Nottingham Forest find themselves in a high-risk, high-reward situation. With 57 points after 32 matches, they still have a realistic shot at breaking into the top 3 if they can win their game in hand against Tottenham. But that is where it gets complicated. Tottenham, despite not being fully committed to the top 4 chase, will still bring the fire. Under Ange Postecoglou, they never lack intensity. Spurs play with a relentless spirit no matter the stakes, and if Forest cannot get a result in London, all the benefits of their remaining fixtures could vanish in just 90 minutes. Next, Forest face Brentford, a team known for their proactive pressing and difficult-to-handle style. After that comes a trip to Crystal Palace, a side with no objectives left but one that becomes especially dangerous in nothing-to-lose encounters. The greatest threat facing Nottingham Forest right now is the brutal schedule ahead. There are no easy fixtures, no opponents willing to take their foot off the gas, and no margin for error. Even one slip could see their Champions League hopes evaporate like smoke. Unlike Manchester City or West Ham, who will face several sides with no real stakes left in the season, Nottingham Forest will battle through 6 intense must-win games. Every single opponent from here on out will play like a desperate warrior, looking to deny Forest at all costs. With mounting pressure, a tight fixture list, and limited squad depth, Forest are the biggest wild card in the top 5 race. If any team is likely to fall behind due to fatigue or the sheer weight of expectation, Forest stand out as the prime candidate. Meanwhile, Aston Villa are entering the final stretch with blistering form. 5 wins in their last 5 games, consistent scoring, and the kind of momentum every team dreams of in the home stretch. This perfectly timed surge has reignited their Champions League ambitions and made them a serious contender in the top 5 race. But a closer look at their schedule shows it's anything but easy. Up next, a daunting away trip to face Manchester City, a team loaded with experience and currently hitting full throttle in their own top-of-the-table campaign. Playing at the Etihad, which has become a near-impenetrable fortress in recent Premier League seasons, will be a real test of Aston Villa's Champions League credentials. A narrow loss might be tolerable, but a heavy defeat could shatter their belief. There is no breather. Villa will then host Fulham, a side without clear goals but known for a cagey counter-attacking style. After that comes a tricky visit to Brentford, whose manager Thomas Frank still has his side fighting in the mid-trade pack. And then come the true tests, Tottenham and Manchester United in the final 2 rounds. On paper, this looks like a nightmare finish, but the reality may not be so grim. By then, Spurs and United could be out of the Champions League picture and shifting focus toward Europa League qualification instead. The way United recently fielded a youth-heavy lineup against West Ham suggests they may not be going all in anymore. Crucially, Aston Villa have not peaked too early. They are finding their stride at exactly the right time. And in a survival-style race, that timing could make all the difference. At this stage, the Champions League race is no longer about glory or reputation. This is not a contest for dreamers or those chasing beautiful football. It has become a raw, unforgiving battle for survival. Even though the Premier League has been granted 5 Champions League spots for next season, the fight for those places has never been more intense. Manchester City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa are all chasing one goal: securing a top-5 finish at any cost. No one cares whether they finish 3rd or 5th, what matters is crossing the line. A top-5 finish means entry into Europe's elite, prestige, financial rewards, and a season filled with opportunity. Given the punishing schedules all 5 contenders face, the mentality now is not play beautiful football, but just survive. Every match in the run-in will be more than a tactical display. It will be a test of willpower, endurance, and nerve. The team that stays calm, holds their shape, and snatches every point possible will prevail. And when the final whistle of the season blows, only those with nerves of steel will walk proudly into the Champions League arena. In the Premier League right now, playing beautifully is great, but survival, that is everything.